Hey, good morning, everybody. How's it going? It's Morgan coming to you from the Highland Cycle Studio. That's just fun to say. Here at my house, having a lovely cup of coffee and getting ready for the day. It is a gorgeous day today. If you guys aren't living on the western slope of Colorado, then you don't know that it just totally rained night before last and bunch of the day yesterday, and that is going to make conditions brilliant tonight. So very excited about that. How is everybody doing? I see Who's Islander was here early, but then had to get up to work. Boo on work, but I get it. Jeff Elmore, good morning. How's it going? Chime in if you guys are new here, if you're just joining me for the first time, or even if you've been here a ton of times, let me know you're here by typing in something in the chat and say, what's up? There's Roger Hurd. What's happening? Ooh, lots of rain in Arizona. That is awesome, Roger. Ooh, I wish I could beam down there and go for a ride. Bike Vault, what is happening? Mike Klinger, what's going on? Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. We're riding on the plateau tonight. If anybody is around and watching and wants to come ride with us on Thursday night, it's gonna be good. Probably not gonna do anything really hard. Just gonna kind of cruise around on the plateau and have a nice night. See if we can't get 30 miles in or something like that. Usually Thursday night rides are in the 20-mile range. Might try to do a little bit easier stuff and a little more time in. Ronnie Nelson, thank you so much. Thank you. Says he's got change for the 193. Keith Wimberly, what's happening? Good morning. John Rybacky, what is up? Oh man, it is what else is going on before we actually get started here? I don't know. Things are good. Jim Rupp, what's up? Oh, from Crappy, California. Where are you living? Crappy, California, Jim. I have to agree that it is Crappy, California. Brady Matter, there he is. Rap. How's it going, Brady? It's a funny thing about California. I actually really enjoy the time I spend there because I don't have to live there and deal with all the rules and all the ridiculousness. It's such a beautiful state that has just been completely ruined. Rex Hammerschmidt, what's happening? Paul Anstey, what's happening? Ooh, hot and humid and unterrible. That is funny. Brady Matter. Ooh, just covered in shock oil. That's my favorite. Were you bleeding the shock and have it come flying out? Because that's usually when I like to cover myself in shock oil. Roger Hurd, I know. Denise killed it at the Women's B at the Enduro. It was so cool. It was great seeing her. Super fun seeing her up there. And what an awesome race. Let's go ahead and get started, guys. Welcome to the Gospel Two Wheels number 141, I think. Is that right? 141. Where the coffee's hot, the bikes are fast, and your comments are absolutely ridiculous. Jim Rupp, Central Coast, great for a couple days. Yeah, exactly. Central Coast is actually really pretty too. We've ridden Zaka Station, which is sadly closed. And Brady, that sucks. Blown up shock piston. That's super sucks. Oh man. Let's talk about the race. Let's talk about the race because Jimmy Neihart has a wonderful question on the Facebooks about the race. Well, it's not about the race. It's about, hang on. Sorry, guys. Let me get in here. And where is it? Anyway, Jimmy Neihart was giving me a hard time because my silencer fell off during the race. So my race results were terrible because I threw away 3+ minutes trying to figure out what to do with my silencer that came off of my 125. So Jimmy's question was, and I'm sure Jimmy will be here. I know Roger Hurd. Jeremy Schoening, thanks, man. That dumb muffler hasn't been off since I put it on the bike It's a spark arrestor silencer, and the only thing I can figure is that those are two bolts. Honestly, I rarely check. I check subframe bolts. I check all this stuff before I do anything. And silencer bolts are ridiculous. The Brady Metter, I'm not going to mute the 125. The only thing I can figure is I have to wring that thing out so hard to make it move forward with my heavy self on it. That it just got hot and cold and hot and cold, and the bolts just came loose because, yeah, I don't know. So I guess I'm gonna have to Loctite them now because when it did come off, hey, make your stream you're in Tennessee right now. That's awesome. When it came off and I went back to get it, the muffler part, which normally on a two-stroke doesn't get all that hot. I mean, you can usually just hold on to them no matter what. Was like 1,000 degrees. It was ridiculous. Oh my gosh, the thing's so hot. So I guess we're gonna have to either safety wire or Loctite or something. The problem with Loctite is that it gets hot anyway. Whatever. Yeah, that was one awesome race. It was really cool how they did that race. I'm really psyched that they had an A only section and like an A B section and then just the C's, because like my son Ewan had a really wonderful race. He raced the first 4 tests and had Brady Metter, you should have some tricks to fix that. I know. Well, the Brady, that's awesome. Sorry, Brady that's a funny joke. Chris Cooley, good morning. Matt Simpson, duct tape and baling wire. I would have duct taped the thing back on had I had anything with me other than water. It's actually the first enduro I've ever raced without some tools and things. Like I race hare scrambles without tools all the time, but normally on an enduro, I throw a fanny pack on with just a few tools and some bolts and stuff like that. I just didn't do it. Biker Sasquatch, what's happening, man? John Colvin, first time catching a live stream. Watching from Tennessee. Not John, but Josh. Josh Colvin, good to see you here, man. The upside to that thing coming off, so it was really cool. Actually, a little story time. So I just cut my kid loose, right, on the course. I didn't ride on the minute with him or the minute behind him. I just said, have fun. Because I figure that's what we ought to do, right? You know, that's how life is. That's why I love motorcycles. It's like a microcosm of life, especially races. I was like, yeah, you're going to be fine. So I took off and I was pinning it and, whatever, he'll be there. And it was cool. I got to see him after test 1. He showed up in the line before I got to start. And that was awesome to see him. I was like, all right, he made it. And then after test 4, when the muffler fell off and I got through and got back, I had to ride all the way back to the pits to get some tools and stuff to fix it. So I pinned it back, and it was miles and miles back, and got the thing on, and I was going back. The good thing is, since it was and not a restart or anything like that, I didn't lose any time after. I lost time during test 4, but I didn't lose any time after that. Kevin O'Loughlin, right on. Where are you listening? Are you in your car? Probably. Well, although you're typing, so I don't know. Anyway, so it was cool. I was really upset because obviously it blew my race results. I knew that when you're running in the A class, you don't really have 3 minutes to throw away. But on my way back to the course, I had to go backwards on the roads to get back. Anyway, I got to see Ewan finishing. So that was actually just made my heart happy to see that he had made it through, and it was totally awesome. So that made me really, really happy to get to see him. So it was actually maybe kind of a God moment. He just wanted me to make sure I saw my kid, and who really cares about my results, right? I'm not a professional. I'm not making money at it anyway. So back to the way they laid it out, really huge shout out to the Barlows for doing it, because they just did a great job. But the first 4 tests were ABCs, pros ABC. And then the next test 5 was an AB test. And then test 6 for me was A only, and then they did have a test 6 for the B riders that was just a little bit different. And it was awesome because it just progressively got harder and harder and harder. And yeah, it was super, super cool. The 125, other than Nightheart, I was on 49, so I was way back there. But the hard part about the 125 was the uphill. Like every like tests 1 through 5, the 125, in my opinion, was the bike to be on for me because I love it. And there wasn't a lot of uphill, wasn't a lot of gnarly stuff. Biker Sasquatch mentions the what happened. Because you signed up with General E. I know, it was awesome. No, well, actually, Jimmy and I heard we both just signed up at the same time, and we were just signing up late. We didn't sign up. Well, we signed. I signed up together, but we just got way back road just because of we signed up late. So I was actually on a minute ahead of him, and I never saw him after the end of the first test. But and Roger, yeah, I did have to pass like 48 million riders because there's C's and B's and whatever ahead of me. But the cool thing, since it was a reliability, once I passed him, I didn't have to pass him again. So Dave Kessler said, I watched test 6. I think you need a new piston and rings, double ring this time. Yes, I am definitely putting a top end in that bike and clutch plates because it suffered. But that was seriously the only problem that happened because of that. Because of being a 125, it was just really hard getting up that thing. But I'm really happy I did it because I don't know, it was a super duper challenge to get that thing up that hill, like real big challenge, and I'm just really happy I did it. Brady, you chose to ride that pile of weeder. Quit complaining about it not having power. I'm not complaining, Brady Metter, at all. And I did choose to ride that thing, and I'm going to keep choosing to ride that thing because it's a lot of freaking fun, and it's making me a better rider. So being on that little 125, other than the really steep uphill stuff where I don't know that it's making me a better rider there too, because when I can get moving and carry momentum, I have to keep carrying it. So because I don't have any option for torque or horsepower. So I like it. So Brady's going to keep giving me a hard time. He gave me a hard time on the 300 anyway because it's a 2-stroke and he hates them, and it's a carbureted 2-stroke. So it doesn't matter. Brady, take that. But I had a freaking blast riding the thing, and it's okay if I have to put a piston in it. Like, they're cheap, and it's got what's it got on it? Probably 65, 70 hours. Gary, what's happening, man? And Dave Kessler, yes, poor little thing. It took a beating, but it did great, and I'm really happy with it. Yeah. Biker Sasquatch, thank you very much. How hot would Brady's 454T get climbing snow slide? Pretty stinking hot with his giant-sized self on it. I can guarantee you that. And Dave Kessler, the thing about the 125, they're way lighter to pick up when you do fall down. Absolutely. And Brady, ride the other 100. His small bores are so good. Oh, it's awesome. The only problem with the 100 is that it doesn't have big enough wheels. I guess I could put big wheels on it. Make your stream YouTube idea, buy a Chinese bike and race it. I thought about that. I've actually thought about that because you bought that Chinese bike and rode it. I just don't want to. Like, I just don't want to ride a pile of crap. Although it would be what I really want to do. And here, I'll put this out there. What I'd really like to do is buy an old clapped out bike, fix it up, and then race it. Which is what my kid Thomas is doing. He didn't go racing with us. He wasn't interested in racing in this race, but that's exactly what we did. Roger Hurd gave us that really wonderful 02 YZ 125, and he's been racing it and having a great time on it. So let's see. Yes, I agree. Roger Hurd said, you know what I always say, if you can ride a 125 fast, you can ride anything fast. I agree, and that's my goal, is to ride that 125, race it all year, only race that bike, and see if I can't actually get faster. So, around here, your row is your row, all race. It's better to pre-enter so you get an earlier row. I have some 80 plus rows. Yeah, times 5. Yeah, Nightheart. So that's like a restart enduro, and we have those here too. Fortunately, this one was not that. And yeah, the thing about the San Isabel race, I wasn't going to go to that race because there was supposed to be a Weeby Hare Scramble that I'm racing that series this coming weekend, but it got canceled because of permits and COVID and anyway, whatever. So it got canceled, so we didn't have a race coming up. So I asked my wife if I could go race the San Isabel race. I'm really glad I did too, because it was just beautiful country and just awesome. By the way, episode of Ride the World is going to happen in that part of Colorado maybe next year, because that place is phenomenal. But anyway, so yeah, it was kind of a surprise that we signed up, but I signed up for the Shady Burrow way early. So hopefully I get a good ride or a number in that. Meeker Extreme, it will change my world. I'm not, I don't want my world changed that way. And back to Roger Hurd's comment about if you can ride a 125 fast, you can ride anything fast. I want to get faster. And I would say that so far the 125 is making me a much faster rider. Seriously, the only place it suffers is going up steep stuff. And that's just because of me. It's not the bike. I'm not complaining about the motorcycle because I just need to work on carrying more momentum on that uphill stuff. It's actually always been my Achilles heel is steep technical stuff going up. I can ride it down really quickly and all that, but man, anyway, something I got to work on, some practice I got to put in. But I've had the best results of my life on that 125. So I'm stoked with it. I love that thing. And Gary, that 125 was screaming like a triggered college student. First of all, that comment wins the internet today. Thank you, Gary, for that. That's awesome. And yes, it was. I was beating on it. Let's see. Mike Klinger, yeah, it does not do justice. Like the video, you can't possibly really see how steep that is. Actually, I have a question about that. Let me get to my bits. Oh, hang on. Sorry, guys. So Scott Kramer asks, heading to Colorado tomorrow. I ride a dual sport. Do I need an OHV sticker to ride Peach Valley? If I do, where do I get one? First of all, yes, you do need an OHV sticker, even if you have a license plate. It's that OHV is for the non-roads, like it's for trails and things like that. So if you're going to go off of a road, like a county or whatever city, town maintained road, then you do have to have an OHV sticker, and I have them. Let's see. Does Ruth ever say no? Yes, she does. It's pretty rare, but she does. Brian Dugan, I will get to Ed's 250. Kind of a turn of events there. Gary M., I finished 8th out of 13 in the 40A. I'm not sure what I was overall. It was bad overall. I still beat a bunch of my friends, though. So I feel pretty good about that. I beat a whole bunch of guys that are my friends that are in the A class. I feel bad for them because if I beat them, losing almost 3.5 minutes is what I figured out, like based on the other times and everybody else on that one test. They must have been having a really rough day. Smiley Hanson, what's happening? Make your stream 25, absolutely. So Scott Willard says, tell us how you really feel about Snowslide. That's the really hard trail. Test 6. Rank it against other hard trails you've ridden in Colorado. So how I feel about it is that it is an awesome trail, and it's really hard. I think at the end of the video, I say that it's probably in the top 5 hardest trails I've ever ridden. I've ridden some pretty hard stuff. I haven't ridden like the most hard stuff in the state, so for sure. but it's legitimately hard. Even on the 300, that would have been really, really tough. And it was muddy at the top. There was a lot of water in the ground coming out, and so it was quite a thing. I Yeah, it was awesome. So yeah, top 5 for sure, Scott. And I mean, you're right. It's really, really, really tough, and totally recommend it. Bike Vault, what 2-stroke should I buy to replace my 500 EXC? I need something lighter for enduro. Bike Vault 300 of some sort. I like Shercos and Betas because they have carburetors right now. I mean, I like KTMs. That's what I ride. But if I bought a brand spanking new 300 right now, it would probably be a Sherco, honestly. So I really like them. They ride well. The motor feels really good, and yeah. So let's see. Brian Dugan, how's Ed 250? So Ed Dugan's 250 Honda. If you guys watch our Facebook stuff and hear, you may know that it blew up. I had thought originally that it was the cam caps had been tightened down too tight because he's had 3 Honda CRFs and he takes good care of them and all that. And I blew up his 450 by screwing up the whole bearing thing. Anyway, it turns out Ed made a mistake and Ed put the oil filter in backwards, and it yeah, that's what killed it. There's no way to tell for sure if the cam caps were over tightened. I mean, they felt really tight when I undid them, but anyway, yeah. So Ed put the oil filter in backwards in a Honda, and it stars the top end. And so yeah, but it's fixed. It's ready to go, and I'm gonna take it back to him at the Shady Burrow. So Darth Mayhem, hey Morgan, if your 300 overheats and some scoring is showing on the exhaust side piston, does that warrant a replace? I don't know. I would check your compression, because if the compression is still good, I'd run it at least for a while longer. I've overheated lots of 2-strokes and not replace the piston right away. I mean, you obviously eventually going to do it. I would check compression on that because it should be all right. With the way you ride the Wandu Stunica, what kind of time do you think you'll get out of a bottom end? Great question, Biker Sasquatch. I don't know. I'm hoping to get 200 plus hours out of a crank on that thing. I'm running a bunch of oil and a bunch of gas at it, so it should hold up, but we will definitely find out. I'm hoping 200, 250. Brady Matter, I can't wait to pull the plastic off the 125 when I go by you at the Gold Rush. Brady Matter, I seriously am alive with anticipation for the Gold Rush and us racing each other. I know that you are generally a more skilled and faster rider than me, but I also know that I'm in better shape than you are. So I'm really hoping I can keep you close enough that when you start to come apart physically, I can pass you and beat you. Let's see. And Roger heard nothing better than beating on your friend's 125. Yes, that's awesome. Dave Kessler, do you think you would have done better on the 300? Yes, I definitely think I would have had a better, I would have had a better test 6 for sure, because I could have just chugged and kept moving and not had to take breaks and gotten stuck and whatever on that final test. So I think, I don't know, but yeah, who knows? It's impossible to tell without actually doing it. But I have a feeling that on the 300, I probably could have gotten it done in under 30 minutes. I was like at 33 or something like that. So I think I could have done it in under 30 minutes on the 300. So it would have been a lot faster. But I think everywhere else, I don't think I was at a disadvantage at all. Jimmy Nyhart, yes, I will throw silencers. That's awesome. Meeker Extreme Beta 300RR Racing, yes. Yeah, Meeker Extreme just got a brand new one. They're awesome. I just, whatever, if I'm looking at the two, working on them, whatever, I like the Sherco, but I mean, I think they're both great bikes. So Brian Diggin, when is the Shady Borough? Where do we find racing dates? I'm new to this racing stuff, seen a couple, but I want to learn more. Brian, racermec.com is where the Shady Borough stuff is. And it is August 7th and 8th. Yeah, August 7th and 8th, the Shady Borough. It's over in South Fork, which is, I don't even know how to describe where South Fork is or where San Isabel is. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere in the state. South Fork is kind of south of Creed, near, kind of near Alamosa, but not really. Anyway, whatever. South Fork, Google it. And Jeremy, all the mud created on 6 was from Coolant on the ground. I would say it was from Coolant and from Tears. There was so much Tears and Coolant on the ground on that test. It was awesome. Roger Hurd asks, is there a bet with you and Brady for the Gold Rush? Not yet, but yes, there will be. We'll put a pool up and get everybody in on that. Gary M., you meet the nicest mechanics with the Honda. That's hilarious, Gary. Let's see. Make your shoe. I looked at the Shurko, but there was none. So crazy. I would buy what I could get ASAP. Yeah, fair enough. Mark, I hear you. Kim Jackson, how's it going? And thank you on liking the race footage. And the 125 was singing. Like I said, Brady's going to keep giving me a hard time. And yes, I think I could have had a better result on the 300, but there's no way I would have had as much fun. And there's no way I would be able to give my friends as much crap, the ones that I beat, if I were on the 300. So it feels good to beat anybody when you're on a 125. So it was awesome. Let's see. What else is going on? I think that's all the questions I got from online. And Brady, winning is fun. The thing is, I'm not going to win on the 300 anyway, because Scott Bright was in my class. So, whatever. I'm not beating Scott. Matt Simpson, I don't think the 125 was singing. I think it was crying. That's awesome. Oh, no, it was singing. It loved it until the top of Snow Slide. It might have been crying then, but it was fun. Yeah, Jimmy Neihart, fun is the prize. I don't think the factory teams are hiring us. Definitely, yeah, they're not hiring me either. And I have so much fun on that 125. And I think if I keep at it and keep working on it, I should. I don't know if I'm going to get a win-win. Well, I'm definitely not going to get an overall win, but I could get a win in the class. Actually, I did. I'm really actually proud to say that I won test 3. I'm really happy about that. It was a fast, flowy test. And yeah, I won test 3 in my class. So that's all I really need right there is I won at least one test. So that was pretty good. Yeah, Dave Kessler, thanks. Yeah, it is a heck of a thing. And the Shady Borough, I'm racing the 125 again. That's a 2-day event at elevation. I think we go up over 13,000 feet at that thing. So the 125 is going to be like seriously underpowered, but I'm stoked. Actually, I need to talk to Kelsey. Kelsey from RK, are you watching? If you are, let me know. I would maybe like to get a higher compression insert for that thing for the Borough. Actually, I'm going to send you an email if you're not. Anyway, because, yeah, I should get the higher compression insert for that thing for up there because it's way. And better take an extra engine. Fortunately, the Borough is not as hard as that because, it's longer. It's 100 miles a day, which is so like the San Isabel is only like 57 miles for the A riders, but the Shady Borough is like it's 100 miles one day and 97 the other day. So anyway, it's longer, but the trails are not a lot easier, but easier. Jimmy Nyhart, only won first in one event. Took a guy out over Henry Hill at Bud's. Totally on accident, but a win is a win. It felt terrible. That's awesome. Hello, Dirt. The altitude for the last race, we were camped at 11,000 feet, but we dropped down pretty far down. Like I felt like we went way down into a completely different like eco zone. Because I mean, we went from mountains with spruce and aspen and green and whatever, all the way down to the like desert, kind of like oak brush and stuff like that. So probably my guess is we got down to like 6,000 feet, 5,000 feet, and then back up to 11. It was awesome. Kim Jackson, yes, it has an Architect head. It's an insert on those because the stock head is actually has the swappable domes, and so it does have that. It's already got, and that's why I can even get it up that dumb trail is because of that head. Yeah, I'm gonna see if he'll send me a higher compression one. That would be awesome. And Matt Simpson, I know, better bring an extra top in for day 2. I am going to. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna hide it. I'm going to bring the 300 in case I smoke the 125 on day 1. But I am absolutely going to have a spare bike. And Meeker Extreme, I'm not going to do a big bore on the 125. That would be a 150. It's like it's really just a 144, same as a YZ or anything like that. But I like it as a 125. It revs higher and faster like that. And it definitely, I don't know, it makes it different. So Joel Dubois, what coolant do I like and why? On 2-strokes, I like Evans, and because it doesn't boil until 375 degrees. So we all know how hot my 125 got because it boiled over, which means that when I take it apart, I need to get it apart pretty quickly because in case it's bad, I need to get some things fixed. I think it's fine, though. It started right up and ran fine once I got back. But I like Evans in 2-strokes because it doesn't boil as early, and it keeps pulling heat away from. It's kind of a long story. Anyway, I like Evans. I think it does really good. In 4-strokes, I don't like it because I think it lets a 4-stroke get too hot. The thing about heat in a motor in a 2-stroke, since there's less stuff going on, there's no cams spinning and all the bearings and the plane bearings and all that crap and the cam chain. And anyway, since there isn't all of that in a 2-stroke, the motor can get hotter without really damaging things. In a 4-stroke, if you get a motor up to 300 degrees, you're going to start warping things and doing damage that you can't, it's going to cost a lot of money to fix. So I don't like it in there. I guess if you had a fan on your 4-stroke, you could run the Evans, but I just like to run normal coolant because then it lets you know. If you're really paying attention and you know how hot your motor is and like that, it works fine in a 4-stroke, but most guys don't really pay that much attention. So I know there's a lot of race teams that run Evans in their 4-strokes because they just want the thing to keep sorry, Brady, they just want to keep rolling and not boil, and that's fine because then they can rebuild it later. But yeah, 4-stroke, I just run normal. I mean, you can put engine ice or whatever you want in there, but normal stuff is just fine. Brady says the only warp my 4-stroke gets is warp speed. That is so not true, Brady Mentor. You know that the only warp your 4-stroke gets is warped from sitting and slowly degrading because you don't ever ride it. So, boom. Guys, it's 8 o'clock and I got a boogie right on time because I got to get my kids to a little camp. And Kevin, I'm not sure why fans aren't stock on 4-strokes, especially like the KTM, like trail bikes. Well, I think it's probably just only the 6 days that come with them stock. But yeah, I think they ought to all come with them. And honestly, I'm thinking about putting one on my my 300 because I'm using that for Brian. Anyway, sorry. I'm gonna be using that for cutting trail and going slow and carrying the chainsaw and all that. So I'm thinking about putting a fan on 300 just because it's not going to be going so fast. Make your stream. I'll talk to you next week. Brian Dugan, I did film the 250 and going back together. So anyway, I love you guys. Punk Rock Club. Thank you guys for sticking around. I love you very much. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope that what we're doing is inspiring you guys to work on, get out. I just botched it. I botched my outro. I hope we're inspiring you guys to work on and get out and ride and hopefully maybe go race your dirt bikes.